The first time I saw the shadow, it was just a flicker, a dark smear across the court, gone before I could blink. I thought it was the arena lights, maybe a trick of my tired eyes after hours of practice. But then it moved. Not like a shadow should, not tethered to any player or object. It slithered under the rim, waiting, watching. And when Rudy Gobert stepped onto the court that night, it stretched toward him like it knew his name. My name is Ethan, and I'm a janitor at the Pine Hollow Arena, a crumbling basketball facility on the edge of a small Minnesota town. It's not the Target Center, where the Timberwolves play, but it's where they sometimes practice when they want to escape the city. The arena's old, with warped bleachers and a roof that leaks during storms. Locals whisper it's cursed, built on land where something terrible happened long ago. I used to laugh off those stories until last winter. It was late January and the Timberwolves had booked the arena for a private practice. I was told to stay late to clean up, nothing new. But that night, the air felt wrong, thick with a tension I couldn't explain. The team rolled in around 7 p.m., and I caught sight of Rudy Gobert stepping off the bus. At 7 feet 1 inch, with a wingspan that could block out the sun, he was a giant, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, a rim-protecting legend. But his usual swagger was off. His eyes flicked to the arena's dark corners, like he sensed something lurking. I kept my head down, mopping the hallways while the team practiced. The sound of sneakers squeaking and the ball thumping echoed through the empty building. By 9 p.m., most players had left, but Rudy stayed, shooting free throws alone. I figured he was just grinding, perfecting his game. But as I swept the bleachers, I saw it, the shadow. It was under the basket, a dark patch that didn't match the overhead lights. I thought it was a spill, maybe some Gatorade, but then it twitched, alive. I froze, my broom clattering to the floor. Rudy didn't notice, his focus on the hoop. The shadow stretched, creeping along the baseline, and I swear it took shape. Tall, humanoid with arms too long for any man. It loomed behind Rudy, mimicking his defensive stance, like it was guarding him. "Hey, man," I called, my voice trembling. "You see that?" Rudy turned, frowning. "See what?" His French accent was sharp, impatient. I pointed at the shadow, but it was gone, melted into the court. There was something under the rim. He stared at me, then at the spot I'd pointed to. "You're tired, man. Go home." But his gaze lingered, and I knew he didn't believe his own words. I grabbed my broom and hurried to the locker rooms, my heart racing. The rest of the night, I cleaned as fast as I could, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching, its gaze crawling up my spine. The next night, Rudy was back, not practicing, just sitting on the bench, staring at the court. I was mopping the hallway when I heard him muttering in French, low and urgent. I don't speak the language, but the tone made my skin crawl. Peeking through the doorway, I saw him clutching a crystal pendant, the kind that glinted under the lights. I'd read Rudy was into crystals, healing stuff. But the way he held it, it wasn't for peace. It was like he was warding off a demon. I was about to leave when I heard it, a guttural sound, part growl, part whisper, coming from the court. Rudy's head snapped up, fear flashing in his eyes. I ducked behind the wall, my breath shallow. The sound grew, forming words in a language I didn't know, ancient and wrong. Then silence. When I looked again, Rudy was gone. The court was empty, the ball rolling slowly across the paint. But the shadow was there, darker, pulsing like a heartbeat. It stretched across the key, tendrils reaching for the rim. I ran, my footsteps echoing, and didn't stop until I was outside, the Minnesota cold burning my lungs. I didn't tell anyone. Who'd believe a janitor claiming a shadow was stalking an NBA star? But I couldn't quit my job. I needed the money. So I went back the next night, armed with a flashlight and a pocket knife, feeling foolish but too scared to go empty-handed. The Timberwolves weren't scheduled, but Rudy was there, pacing under the basket. He looked wrecked, eyes bloodshot, face drawn. I stayed hidden, watching from the bleachers. He was talking to himself, in English this time. "You don't own me," he said, voice low. "I'm not yours." I thought he was on a call, arguing, but then I saw it. the shadow larger, more defined. It loomed behind Rudy, arms stretching to the rim, fingers curling around the hoop. The air turned icy, my breath fogging. Rudy spun, clutching his pendant. "Leave me alone," he shouted. The shadow didn't budge. It tilted its head, studying him. Then it spoke, not a voice, but a sound that burrowed into my skull, static and screams. Rudy staggered, clutching his head. I wanted to run, to help, but my legs were lead. The shadow stepped closer, its form solidifying, taller than Rudy with eyes like voids. Rudy bolted for the locker room, the shadow gliding after him. I waited, heart hammering until it was gone. Creeping to the court, I shone my flashlight. The air smelled of sulfur and decay. Under the rim, I found a scorch mark, a handprint burned into the wood. That night, I researched the arena's history. The locals were right. It was built on a burial ground, a Native American tribe's sacred land, erased in the 1800s under murky circumstances. Settlers called the land cursed, claiming shadows moved without owners. Voices whispered in the dark. When the arena went up in the 70s, workers reported accidents, vanishing tools, figures in the rafters. An old article mentioned a player from the 80s who vanished after a late practice, his car abandoned in the lot. No trace was ever found. I dug into Rudy too. He was private, but there were hints: his childhood in Saint-Quentin, France, his mother's support, his father's absence. One story mentioned a painful memory: his mother's family rejecting him for his mixed heritage. It nagged at me, the idea that Rudy carried a darkness, a wound. Maybe that's what the shadow wanted. The next night, I found Rudy in the arena's basement, a labyrinth of storage rooms and rusted pipes. He sat on a crate, head in his hands. The crystal was gone, replaced by a leather pouch around his neck. I stepped forward. "Rudy, you okay?" I asked. He looked up, startled. "You again? Why are you here?" "I work here," I said. "But I saw it. The shadow." His eyes widened, then softened. "You shouldn't have seen that. Leave now." "What is it?" I pressed. "What's happening?" He hesitated. "It's been with me since I was a kid, in France. I thought it was nightmares, but it followed me here. It's stronger now, hungrier." "What does it want?" I whispered. "Me," he said. "My strength, my will. It feeds on it." It sounded insane, but I'd seen the shadow, felt its weight. Why here? Why now? "This place," he said, gesturing. "It's a door. Something old lives here, and it woke when I came." I thought of the burial ground, the vanished tribe. "We need to get you out," I said. He shook his head. "It won't let me go. Not until it has what it wants." The lights flickered. The growl came louder, closer. The air froze, my breath visible. Rudy stood, his massive frame tense, eyes scanning the dark. "It's here," he whispered. The shadow emerged from the wall, solid, a towering figure with branch-like arms, its face a void with glowing eyes. It moved toward Rudy, steps silent but heavy, warping the air. Rudy grabbed the pouch, chanting in French, voice steady but strained. The shadow paused, head tilted, then lunged. I don't know why I acted. I was terrified, but I threw my flashlight. The beam hit the shadow, and it screamed, a sound that pierced my ears. It recoiled, flickering, and Rudy ran for the stairs. I followed, legs burning, as we reached the main floor. The court was pitch black, lights out. The shadow was behind us, its presence crushing. Rudy stopped under the rim, chest heaving. "It's strongest here," he said. "This is where it wants me." "Then why stop?" I yelled. "I'm done running," he said. He opened the pouch, pouring salt and herbs in a circle around himself, chanting louder. The shadow appeared, eyes blazing, and charged. It hit the circle and stopped, like striking glass. It roared, shaking the arena, bleachers rattling. Rudy's chant grew frantic, blood dripping from his nose, body trembling. The shadow pounded the barrier, its form fraying. Its eyes locked onto me, and I felt it. A pull, like it was clawing into my mind. I stumbled, vision blurring, hearing Rudy shout, "Stay back!" The circle glowed blue, faint but fierce. The shadow screamed, collapsing into itself. With a final wail, it vanished, leaving silence. Rudy fell, salt and herbs scattered. I ran to him, checking his pulse. He was alive, barely. Rudy left Pine Hollow the next day. Word was he took a break from the Timberwolves, citing personal reasons. The arena was condemned a week later. Structural issues. I quit and moved to the city, but I still dream of that night. The shadow's eyes, Rudy's chant, the handprint under the rim. I don't know what the shadow was, or why it wanted Rudy. Maybe it craved his strength, his defiance. Maybe it was older, tied to the land, hunting anyone who shone too bright. I'll never step into an arena again. And when I watch Rudy block a shot on TV, I wonder if he still feels it. Those eyes in the dark, waiting for him to slip. And I wonder if it's really gone, or if it's still out there, waiting for someone else. What do you think? Have you ever felt a presence like that? Something watching you when you're alone? Maybe a shadow that didn't belong? Drop your stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. And if you like this tale, hit that like button and subscribe for more creepy stories. Until next time, stay out of the dark.